step back from the stepping back itself. Definitely stepping back from the awakening or brightening, because these are the samabat, power in itself, purified through sunyata samabat. This is not about maintaining the brightening state. Stepping back from awakening and brightening, therefore, there is purification of sunyata samabat without traces. Samabat is like a power in blessing. Stepping back from the brightening itself. Stepping back from disengaging itself. Opening and step back from the opening itself. This will turn into purifying without traces automatically. The skillful is through blessing. Proceeding through blessing, therefore it will be skillful. Use the reminder so that the non-human beings will hear it and they will burst out accordingly, unwinding accordingly, and they will be the teamwork for the blessers automatically. Blessing altogether. The more blessing, the more teamwork it will be joining. Therefore, deliberate blessing, more diligent in blessing. This will be beyond the mind, beyond formlessness, beyond mental process. Step back from the stepping back itself. This is the power within itself. And this is the power that can be utilized according to the perfection. This is not to practice for attainment. This will purify without traces, constantly purifying without traces. In the Buddha time, they don't practice for attainments of the power, of the supernatural power. The perfection has been completed. When they listen, the unwinding discards itself. The power, supernatural power, is a kind of karmic difficulties from meditative power, insights. So, whoever that has the karmic difficulties in whatever ways, it will appear naturally. Supernatural power in the way of disappearing the body or shorten the distance or knowing each other's mind. This is a kind of natural thing. Enable to talk to animals, also automatic. But this is not something to try to practice for it, because everything is a kind of karmic difficulties in itself. Therefore, there is no need to practice for attainment this kind of karmic difficulties, because it will come out naturally on its own. This kind of karmic difficulties will appear on its own. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind has its own karmic difficulties in itself. Whether it's tangible or intangible, there is karmic difficulties in itself. Step back from disengaging itself, that is disengaging without grasping for itself. Awakening, also stepping back from the awakening itself without grasping for the awakening. Brighten out, stepping back from the brightening out itself without grasping for the brightness. The awakening and the brightening has its own karmic difficulties of Vedana. If it's hanging there, it will take on the Vedana, the sensations, the unbearable. That's why it needs to discard its awakening state. If step back from the brightening, enable that. Without grasping for the brightening, it will be beyond the Vedana, beyond sensations. Because this has no commitment, that has to be as always like that. There is no conditions or commitments or obligations in blessing at all. This is about deliberate blessing with diligence. They have been blessing throughout eons of time, throughout Buddha eras. Is subjected to deliberate blessing. When it's proceeding in such a way, it will be proceeded constantly without commitments. However, the more blessing, the more perfection in blessing there is, samsara will just come around more and more. Therefore, the blessers must be deliberate in purifying samsara much more. They cannot be still at all, because samsara will be surrounded them. Samsara will see them. The power of being deliberate of the great perfection is derived from what? This is inspired by the suffering of the beings. That's why great compassion is arising among those great perfections. Power of suffering of samsara inspires the great perfections to bless them. Samsara is there, they have the Vedana, they have the sufferings. Samsara inspires the great compassion of the great perfections to be there. Without samsara, the great perfection won't exist. You are suffering because samsara is suffering, because you can perceive the suffering from samsara. That's why it inspires all blessers to purify for samsara. Step back from the stepping back itself. Without grasping for the stepping back itself. That is all of the essence of giving up. Is the ultimate already. Giving up states of mind themselves. Stepping back from the stepping back itself. That is the essence of the giving up. It's all the same essence, whatever sentences that is mentioned here. Disengage, stepping back from disengaging itself without grasping for disengaging. This will purify without traces automatically. Therefore, the blessing creates refinement within itself, all by itself. It's shifting towards the unobstructed in blessing. It's from the refinements within the blessing itself. It's like that. If blessing with obstructions, it will shift into that which is not obstructed. It's natural. Because when there is an obstruction, it's because there is a grasping mind, and it will unwind from that. It will shift into no grasping. If there is deliberate blessing, the refinement will be more skillful, more fluent in blessing. Discard the discarding itself, stepping back from the stepping back itself. Is it fluent? Is still awkward with seeing and knowing or not? If there is a preparation to see, to know, that is awkward. That's not fluent. Not fluent with the essence. Step back from the stepping back itself. There is no need to prepare for seeing or knowing at all. Purify without traces right away, instantly. Let it be fluent in blessing.